Hello again. Well, there's one thing that I want to just point out to people that haven't done this before, or perhaps wouldn't even know if you haven't got a manual, or it's very basic, but on removing it, so this is where the shaft runs through, up through here, right up through here, and that's the top of the shaft there. So she's quite a long old shaft that runs through there, the king post. This hole in the middle, you can see it there, let's see, that hole there, this is the plug that goes under there. So basically that's full of oil, gear oil, and they tend to over time get filled up with water, especially this particular age of machine, where you get sort of you know, hot days, and then she sits through a winter, and then another hot summer, creates, you know, she sweats, and over a period of time it builds up to be quite a bit of water in there. So what you're supposed to do is every month maybe, or every 3 or 4 months, but certainly you know, a few times a year, is just undo this until you see water, because obviously water's heavier than oil, so the water sits at the bottom where they sort of separate, so the water will just drip through. You only undo it a little bit till it starts dripping, and then then you'll eventually see it turn to oil. The moment you see it turn to oil, nip it up, then you've got rid of all the water in there. But a lot of people don't know that, and that actually can create quite a problem with the machine, as in, you think this is all submerged in supposedly oil, she's got water in there, and through a winter, once you get a build up, it can actually freeze. And what this does then is act like you've got a big stone in there, and when you start asking the digger to turn left and right, it comes up against that ball of ice, and also water expands. So if you're in a particularly cold area, you know, minus 15, you know, then it can actually, water expands and it can crack the casting on the machine. That's obviously worst case scenario, but you can actually crack the casting as well. When she's frozen, you get in there, start the machine up, and first thing you want to do is slew it round to the left or right. Obviously in here all the gearing's pushing against ice, which ice isn't very forgiving, so the casting is, so it ends up cracking, giving you a nice big crack, and then you're into plenty of money. So just for the sake of undoing this here, you know, once every couple of months, just to see the water drip out and it turn back to nice clean oil, and perhaps give her a little top up. The top up is inside here, so that screw there, just undo that plug and fill her up. Just keep an eye on that. Very, very simple, but it's very, very effective. Save you a lot of money in the long run, and a lot of wear. It will save you a lot of wear. Anyway, that was just a quick update really, and always also just to show you that the machine's now in position. So she's holding on this lifting pin here to take the weight, so that I can unbolt the pan which is underneath here, which I've undone all those bolts now. Only just make sure they all turn, because now I've got to put a high lift jack under here with a block of wood, because the pin obviously is so long, it's going to be heavy and you'd never stop it coming out. So we put a high lift jack onto that plate with a nice bit of wood, and what we'll do is, I'll get a rough measure with it there, so that's about the length, so that will come down through. When I lower the jack will carry the pin down with it, and then obviously once it gets to there, I can then lean it over and roll it out, or take it out, and the king post will be then hanging and dangling from the machine, which then I can then swing it round and lay that gently down and we can see what damage and where. But that's all really. I just wanted to, it's a job when you're doing these things, when you're doing these recordings, to think of everything. I'm not reading it. It's very much make it up as you go along, because I've decided to do it to help people if they decide to do this as like a visual. But you know, it's difficult to remember everything while you're on the spot doing it yourself. But anyway, hope it helps you, and I'll see you on the next video.